Most people drift through life believing they are ordinary, bound by the limitations of the world around them. They seek validation, approval, and signs from the outside, never realizing that the greatest sign has been within them all along. But the chosen ones, the rare 1%, see beyond the illusion. They feel something deeper, something unexplainable, an inner knowing that whispers to them in moments of stillness. It is not a loud, demanding voice, but a quiet certainty, like the vast ocean beneath the waves. They may not always be able to put it into words, but they feel it in their bones. They are here for something more. This rare sign is not something external, not a mark upon the body or a talent that can be measured. It is an awareness, an undeniable sense that they are part of something greater, woven into the fabric of existence itself. While others search endlessly for purpose outside themselves, the chosen ones understand that the search is not outward but inward. It is not about becoming something, but remembering what has always been there. They do not chase meaning, they are meaning itself. They move through life with an energy that others sense but cannot explain. They are not defined by society's rules, nor do they fit neatly into its expectations. They are the outliers, the ones who see patterns where others see randomness, who feel the weight of existence and yet dance lightly upon it. There is a reason why so few people recognize this sign within themselves. The world conditions us to doubt, to conform, to believe that we are nothing more than a collection of experiences and labels. The rare ones, however, never fully buy into this illusion. Even in childhood they feel different, as if they are playing a game that no one else realizes is a game. They might struggle, feel lost, or even question their own sanity at times, but deep down they always return to the same knowing. I was meant for more. This is not arrogance, but recognition. It is not ego, but awakening. Because they see beyond the veil, the chosen ones often walk alone. Their path is not one of the masses, and because of that they are misunderstood. People may call them dreamers, misfits, or rebels, but these labels mean nothing to them. They do not seek belonging in the way others do. They understand that true belonging is not about fitting into a group, but about being fully present with oneself. Their solitude is not loneliness, but a gateway to deeper understanding. In silence, they connect with the infinite. In stillness, they hear the whispers of truth that others drown out with noise. Doubt will come, as it does for all who walk this path. The mind will try to convince them that they are just imagining things, that they are no different from anyone else, that they should fall in line. But they know better. They recognize doubt for what it is, a cloud passing through the sky of their consciousness. The sky itself remains untouched. The chosen ones do not cling to fleeting emotions. They observe them, learn from them, and let them go. They trust in the deeper rhythm of life, knowing that what is meant for them will unfold in time. They do not force, they do not chase, they align. And here lies the rarest sign of all, the ability to become. While others remain fixed in their identities, the chosen ones are fluid, ever transforming. They understand that they are not a single rigid self, but an unfolding mystery. They do not resist change, they welcome it. They do not fear the unknown, they step into it with open arms. The world may try to define them, but they know they are beyond definition. They are not here to fit in, they are here to expand, to evolve, to awaken. Perhaps you feel this deep within yourself. Perhaps you have always sensed that you are different, that you see the world in ways others do not. This is not an accident. You are not lost. You are simply remembering. The path is not easy, but it is yours, and no one else can walk it for you. Trust in that knowing. Trust in yourself. The rare ones do not need permission to shine. They simply do. The path of the chosen is not paved with comfort or certainty. It is a journey of transformation, of breaking free from the illusions that bind most people to a life of repetition. The rare ones feel this calling, not as an ambition or a desire for success in the conventional sense, but as a pull from something deeper. It is an urge to awaken, to step beyond what is familiar, to see the world not as it appears but as it truly is. While others remain trapped in their roles, in their identities, in their fears, the chosen ones sense that these things are not fixed, that life itself is a fluid, unfolding experience, and they embrace this truth fully. They are not here to merely exist, they are here to become. Because they have this awareness, the world often feels different to them. While others move through life unquestioningly accepting what they have been told, the chosen ones are always looking deeper. They question what others take for granted. They see beyond the surface, sensing the hidden currents beneath everyday reality. It is not something they choose. It is simply the way they are. And yet, this knowing comes at a cost. It can be isolating to perceive what others do not, to recognize the patterns, to feel the energy, to understand that the world is not solid and certain, but shifting and alive with meaning. They may feel as if they are speaking a language no one else understands, as if they are walking a path that no one else can see. Many try to suppress this knowing. They try to fit in, to follow the rules, to silence the voice within that tells them they are meant for more. But no matter how much they try to blend in, they can never truly forget. Something always pulls them back, reminding them that they are different, that they are meant to see what others do not. And so eventually they must make a choice to embrace the unknown, to trust the path that unfolds before them, or to remain in the illusion of safety, pretending they are like everyone else. The chosen ones know, deep down, that there is no real choice. The awakening cannot be undone. Once they have glimpsed the truth, they cannot go back to sleep. Fear and doubt will try to hold them back. The mind will create reasons to stay small, to stay hidden, to avoid the discomfort of stepping into the unknown. It will whisper that they are not special, that they are just like everyone else, that they are imagining things. But the chosen ones recognize these thoughts for what they are: echoes of conditioning, remnants of a world that fears those who see beyond it. And so they do not fight these doubts. They do not resist the fear. They simply watch, allowing it to rise and fall, knowing that they are not their thoughts, that their essence is far beyond the limitations of the mind. The rarest thing of all is not talent or intelligence or status. It is the ability to step fully into one's own power, to trust the unfolding, to surrender to the path without needing to control it. The chosen ones do not cling to certainty, they embrace mystery. They do not seek approval, they stand in their own knowing. They do not wait for permission, they move forward even when the way is unclear, and in doing so they transform not just themselves but the world around them. There is no map for this journey, no guidebook, no set of instructions. Each chosen one must walk their own path, must listen to their own knowing, must find their own. But the sign is there, always, for those who are ready to see it. The ones who feel it will understand. They will know that this is not coincidence, that they are being called, that it is time. Transcending fear and doubt is not about eliminating them, but about seeing through them. The chosen ones recognize that fear is simply a reflex of the mind, an attempt to cling to what is known, even if what is known is a cage. Most people live their lives dictated by fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping beyond the comfortable and predictable. But the rare ones understand something fundamental. Fear is just a shadow, a fleeting illusion that loses its power the moment it is truly looked at. They do not run from it, they walk straight through it, knowing that beyond it lies freedom. Doubt whispers to everyone, but to the chosen it speaks in a different way. It does not cripple them, for they know that even doubt has its purpose. It is there to test their resolve, to ask them if they are truly ready to step into the unknown. The ones who hesitate, who turn back at the first sign of uncertainty, are not yet ready. But the ones who feel the doubt and keep going, these are the ones who awaken. They understand that certainty is not something to be grasped, but something to be surrendered to. The mind seeks guarantees, but life offers none. The chosen ones do not need certainty because they trust the unfolding of their own becoming. There is a great misunderstanding in the world. People believe that being chosen means being special, being superior, being elevated above others. But the truth is much simpler and much deeper. Being chosen is not about external success, nor about recognition, nor about being set apart by the world's standards. It is about a state of awareness, a knowing that does not need to be proven. The rare sign of the chosen is not found in achievements or titles, but in the way they move through life. There is a presence about them, a stillness beneath the motion, a deep knowing that they belong not to the structures of society, but to something far greater, far older, far beyond the fleeting concerns of the world. Most people resist change because they are attached to their identities. They believe they are a fixed thing, a personality, a collection of experiences and beliefs. But the chosen ones recognize that they are not a thing at all. They are a process, a becoming, a river that never flows the same way twice. This is the rarest sign of all, the ability to let go of what they think they are in order to become what they truly are. While others cling to the past, to their stories, to their labels, the chosen ones release all of it, again and again, allowing themselves to evolve, to shift, to expand beyond what they ever imagined. The path of the chosen is not about power, not about control, not about being seen or acknowledged. It is about surrendering to the vast intelligence of life itself, about allowing oneself to be shaped by forces greater than the mind can comprehend. It is about stepping forward without needing to see the whole path, about trusting that each step will reveal itself in time. The chosen ones do not force things into being, they align with what is already unfolding. They do not fight the current, they become the current. Perhaps you have always felt that you are different. Perhaps you have sensed that the way the world operates does not quite make sense to you, that there is something more beneath the surface, something calling to you in moments of stillness. This is not a coincidence, it is not an accident. The feeling that you are meant for something greater is not an illusion, it is the rarest truth, one that only the few can hear. The question is not whether you are chosen, the question is whether you will answer the call. The power of becoming is the rarest and most profound gift a person can possess. Most people spend their lives trying to define themselves, trying to fit within the boundaries of who they think they should be. They seek labels, identities, and a sense of permanence, because it gives them comfort. But the chosen ones, the rare 1%, understand something deeper. They know that true power lies not in holding on, but in letting go, not in being something fixed, but in becoming something fluid. Life is not a straight line, it is an unfolding, a dance between the seen and the unseen. The ones who embrace this flow, who surrender to the unknown, are the ones who truly awaken. This path is not about control, for control is an illusion. Most people believe that if they can just predict and manage every detail of their lives, they will find security. But the chosen ones recognize that security itself is an illusion, a construct of the mind that keeps people trapped in fear. True freedom comes not from certainty, but from trust. The trust that life is unfolding exactly as it should, even when the way forward is unclear. While others seek to force outcomes, the rare ones align with the deeper rhythms of existence. They do not resist change, they welcome it, knowing that transformation is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. Because of this, the chosen ones often appear different to those around them. They move through life with a certain lightness, an ease that is not based on external circumstances, but on inner peace. They do not cling to the past, nor do they obsess over the future. They live fully in the present, understanding that the only real power is found in the now. They are not trapped by regret, nor are they paralyzed by fear of what is to come. Instead, they flow with life, trusting that each moment contains exactly what is needed. This presence, this deep awareness, is what sets them apart. The world teaches people to measure themselves by external standards, success, wealth, recognition. But the chosen ones understand that none of these things define true greatness. The rare sign is not something that can be seen or measured. It is a state of being, an inner radiance that cannot be dimmed by circumstances. Even in the face of challenges, even in the midst of uncertainty, they remain anchored in something deeper. They do not need validation from the world because they already know who they are. They do not seek approval because they have already accepted themselves. And yet, this path is not always easy. To be chosen is to walk a road that few will understand. It is to see what others do not see, to feel what others are blind to know that life is far greater than what appears on the surface. It can be lonely at times, for the world often resists those who do not conform. But the chosen ones do not seek to belong in the way others do. They are not here to fit in. They are here to expand, to evolve, to awaken something greater within themselves and those around them. Perhaps you have felt this within yourself, a quiet knowing that you are meant for something more. Perhaps you have sensed that you do not see the world the way others do, that there is something calling you beyond the ordinary. This is not your imagination. This is not an accident. It is the rarest of signs, the whisper of something ancient and powerful moving through you. The question is not whether you are chosen. The question is whether you will trust the calling, whether you will step beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond limitation, and embrace the infinite unfolding of who you truly are. Perhaps the rarest sign of all is not something that can be named, not something that can be pointed to or described in a way that others will understand. It is a feeling, a presence, a quiet knowing that exists beyond words. The chosen ones do not need confirmation from the world because the truth of who they are is not something external. It is something they have always carried within. And yet, for much of their lives, they may struggle to fully accept this. The world conditions people to seek proof, to question themselves, to doubt what they feel in their deepest moments of clarity. But the rare ones learn through experience that the greatest truths are not found in what others say, but in what they have always known to be real. At first, this knowing can feel like a burden. To see beyond the illusions of society, to recognize the deeper patterns that others ignore, to feel a calling that cannot be easily explained, these things set the chosen ones apart. And in a world that values conformity, being set apart is often mistaken for isolation. They may spend years feeling out of place, wondering if there is something wrong with them, trying to force themselves to fit into roles that were never meant for them. But eventually something shifts. They stop trying to silence the voice within. They stop resisting the truth that has been whispering to them all along. They step into their own power, not because they seek to be special, but because they finally realize they can no longer be anything else. The moment they embrace this, everything changes. They no longer move through life with hesitation, questioning whether they are on the right path. They realize that there is no single path, no destination that must be reached. There is only the unfolding of each moment and the trust that everything is happening exactly as it should. They no longer seek validation because they understand that their worth was never something that needed to be proven. They no longer fear being misunderstood because they recognize that true understanding comes from within, not from the acceptance of others. Most people are afraid of stepping into the unknown because they believe that the unknown is empty, that it is something to be feared. But the chosen ones understand that the unknown is not empty, it is full. It is where all possibility exists, where transformation happens, where the greatest truths are revealed. They do not cling to certainty because they know that certainty is an illusion. Instead, they embrace the vastness of existence, knowing that they are not separate from it. They do not try to control life, they flow with it. They do not resist change, they become it. This is what makes them different. Not power, not intelligence, not talent, though they may possess all these things. What makes them different is their ability to surrender to something greater than themselves, to let go of the small self, the constructed identity, the false sense of limitation, and step fully into the infinite. They do not seek to be chosen because they understand that everyone has this potential. The only difference is that they have answered the call, and now the question turns to you. Perhaps you have always felt that you are different, that you see the world in a way others do not. Perhaps you have sensed a quiet voice within you, nudging you toward something greater, something beyond the ordinary. This is not a coincidence. This is not a mistake. The rarest sign is not given to those who wait for permission. It is found in those who recognize it within themselves and dare to step forward. The path is open, but only you can walk it. The choice is not whether you are chosen. The choice is whether you will choose yourself.
We often speak of destiny as if it is something we await like a train arriving at a distant station, as though life must deliver us to our greatness. But consider this. What if the waiting is the very thing that keeps you from arriving? What if the future you seek is already present, hidden behind your refusal to act? You see, life does not unfold according to comfort. It unfolds according to movement. To push yourself is not to strain, not to grasp or force your way forward, but to participate in the eternal rhythm of becoming. Every hesitation you feel is not a sign to stop, but a whisper to awaken. We were not born to drift aimlessly through the tide. We are waves, yes, but waves with purpose. The ocean itself moves through us when we dare to move. So stop waiting for permission. The moment is now, not later, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now, push yourself not out of fear, but out of reverence for what you already are. Because when you step into the flow of your becoming, the world bends quietly in your favor. We are conditioned, almost hypnotized, into believing that life begins only when all the pieces are perfectly in place. Once I get the right job, we say, once I meet the right person, find my purpose, or heal from the past, then I'll begin. This mindset is so deeply ingrained that we rarely question it. We wait for confidence, for clarity, for a sign from the sky. But in that waiting, we slowly drift from the very life we were meant to live. You see, waiting is not a neutral act. It's not simply the absence of doing. It's a quiet agreement with fear, a pact we make with our uncertainty that says, I am not enough yet. But what if you are already enough? What if the moment you're in right now is already bursting with the potential of the life you long for? The truth is, the perfect moment you're waiting for will never arrive, because there is no such thing as a perfect moment. There is only the moment you choose to claim. Life is not something that happens to you once all your plans are set. Life is happening now. It is raw, unpredictable, wild, and it belongs to those who participate in it, not those who wait for it to become manageable. The irony is that the more we wait for everything to align, the more misaligned we become. You've probably felt it before, that slow ache of stagnation, of watching your own life from a distance. You know something must change, but still you wait. For what? Certainty, approval, a promise that you won't fail. But growth doesn't come with guarantees. It comes with movement, and in movement we find our answers. Life is not a riddle to be solved before action. It is a song that reveals itself as you dance. Pushing yourself isn't about aggression or pressure. It's about reclaiming your place in the dance of life. It's about realizing that no external force is going to deliver you to the life you imagine. You are not a passenger on a cosmic train. You are the conductor. You do not need to wait for a green light from the universe. You are the green light, so start before you're ready. Speak before your voice feels steady. Step forward before the path is lit. Because each moment you delay is a moment you've surrendered to a future that never comes. The illusion of waiting is the cleverest trick of the mind to keep you from your power by keeping you still. And so I ask you, what if there's nothing more to wait for? What if your time is now? Not because you're fully prepared, but because you're alive. That is enough. That is everything. Discomfort has become something we try to avoid at all costs. We cushion our lives with convenience, numb ourselves with distraction, and convince ourselves that ease is the sign of right direction. But this obsession with comfort has a hidden cost. It keeps us small. Growth, by its very nature, is uncomfortable. It stretches us, pulls us, even breaks us open. Yet we treat discomfort as a sign that something is wrong, when in truth it is often the clearest signal that something sacred is beginning. You cannot transform by standing still. The butterfly does not emerge from the chrysalis in comfort. It pushes, strains, breaks through. And so must you. Every worthwhile evolution in your life has come through discomfort, through the fear of stepping into the unknown, the ache of letting go, the trembling courage to try again. It is in these moments, when everything inside you says stop, turn back, hide, that you must move forward. Because on the other side of that discomfort is the version of you that you have been yearning to become. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the passage. It is life sculpting you, shaping your edges, burning away what no longer serves. And yet many people run from it. They interpret the fire as punishment instead of purification. But the truth is, anything that shakes you is trying to wake you. When you feel resistance, when the path becomes steep and uncertain, that is when you are closest to a breakthrough. That is when life is bending you toward your becoming. We are not here to simply repeat safe patterns. We are here to evolve, and evolution is rarely gentle. It asks you to risk, to step outside the lines, to abandon the familiar comfort of your past self. There will be pain, but pain is not the villain. Pain is the invitation, not to suffer for suffering's sake, but to lean into the truth that growth requires something of you. It asks for your willingness to be undone so that you can be remade. Pushing yourself doesn't mean forcing a future that doesn't feel true. It means surrendering to the fire that forges you. It means saying yes to the discomfort that signals change is underway. It means trusting that the inner friction is not a flaw in your process. It is the process. Stop avoiding what makes you uncomfortable. Start moving toward it with reverence, because that's where the real alchemy happens. That's where the self you dream of is hiding in the hard, the messy, the uncertain. Discomfort is not there to punish you. It's there to pull you into the depths of your potential. So the next time you feel the burn, the pressure, the fear, don't retreat, breathe, step forward. That's where transformation lies. There is a great misunderstanding woven into the fabric of our everyday thinking, the belief that life is happening to us, as if we are merely spectators, passengers in a universe we didn't choose. But this is an illusion. You are not separate from life. You are not an object being pushed around by random forces. You are the subject, the dreamer, and the dream. The world you experience arises in part from your own perception, intention, and action. You shape it, color it, and give it meaning not later, not someday, but always, right now. We often wait for circumstances to improve before we feel empowered. We think, once I get that opportunity, once things calm down, then I'll show up fully. But the great paradox is this: reality responds to your movement. Life isn't waiting to give you permission. It's waiting to reflect your own energy back to you. When you take action with belief, life begins to move around you. Doors open. People appear. Possibilities shift. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you are finally meeting it with the truth of who you are. When you understand that you are the dreamer and the dream, you stop begging life to change and start shaping it through conscious participation. This is not about delusion or wishful thinking. It's about stepping into the creative role that has always belonged to you. Your thoughts, your choices, your inner world, they are not private, passive things. They ripple outward. They become conversations, decisions, vibrations. They shape the very fabric of your reality. Look closely and you'll see it. The days you step into confidence, the world meets you differently. The moments you trust your voice, others begin to listen. This is not magic. It is alignment. The inside and the outside are not two, they are reflections. And when your inner world becomes steady, focused, and alive, the external world begins to echo that state. So instead of waiting for life to change, ask how you must change to meet the life you desire. To push yourself, then, is not to force the world into submission. It is to awaken the part of you that has forgotten its power. It is to remember that reality bends around energy, not effort alone, but intention made visible. You were never meant to be a passive observer. You were born to be an artist, sculpting your days from the clay of awareness and action. There is no map to follow. You are the cartographer. The path reveals itself only as you walk it, and the dream you long for. It is already present in the mind of the dreamer, already alive in the one who dares to imagine it. That one is you. The only question is, will you wake up to it? Will you step into the dream and let it unfold through your hands, your heart, your life? Life is not happening to you. Life is happening through you. We tend to treat resistance as the enemy, as something to be conquered, ignored, or avoided altogether. When we try to change, to grow, to step into a larger version of ourselves, and resistance shows up, we think we've done something wrong. Maybe this isn't the right time, we say. Maybe I'm not ready. But what if resistance isn't a sign to stop? What if it's a sacred signal, a doorway disguised as discomfort? Resistance is not there to harm you. It is not a flaw in your design. It is a part of you, a deeply human response to leaving the known behind. The mind clings to the familiar, even if the familiar causes suffering. The ego would rather stay in predictable pain than risk the unknown of transformation. So when you begin to move towards something new, when you dare to believe in your own potential, resistance rises. Not to block you, but to test you, to ask, are you serious about this? Will you move forward even when it's hard? It's easy to move when everything feels aligned. It's easy to act when motivation is high and fear is low. But that's not where real change happens. Real change begins at the threshold where resistance lives. That inner tension, that voice of doubt, that tightness in the chest, these are not signs of failure. They are signs of friction, and friction is the birthplace of fire. You are not weak for feeling resistance. You are alive. Resistance is a reminder that you are touching the edge of your old identity. It means you're reaching beyond the version of yourself you've been rehearsing for years. So instead of fighting it, listen to it, not as a command to retreat, but as an invitation to deepen your awareness. Ask yourself, what part of me is afraid to grow? What story am I still holding that says I'm not worthy of the life I want? These questions will take you further than force ever could. The mind resists not because it wants you to fail, but because it's been trained to protect you from pain. It doesn't yet understand that the discomfort of growth is not a threat. It's a necessary step, so meet your resistance with compassion. Sit with it, study it, then move anyway, not because the fear is gone, but because your desire to grow is greater than your desire to stay the same. This is the work. This is the real push, not against the world, but against your own inner threshold. Every time you lean into resistance with courage and presence, you soften its grip. You become less reactive, more deliberate, and gradually what once felt like a wall becomes a doorway. Resistance was never a prison, it was a veil. And once you pass through it, you realize it was never trying to stop you at all. It was trying to awaken you to what you've always had, the power to choose, the power to act, the power to become. We often associate power with force, straining, pushing, conquering, the idea that to make it happen requires intensity, struggle, and sheer will. But this kind of effort, born from tension and control, eventually exhausts us. It pulls us out of harmony and into a battle with life itself. Yet true power, the kind that endures, inspires, and creates real change, does not come from force. It comes from alignment. It comes from the deep understanding that when you are in tune with your inner being, action becomes effortless, and effort becomes a form of grace. To push yourself in the truest sense is not to force yourself. It is not about aggression or domination. It is about stepping into flow. a state where your inner intention and outer action move together like music. When you act from this place, you are not trying to overpower life, but to join with it. You stop wrestling the river and start swimming with its current. This is not passivity, it is presence, and it's more powerful than any brute strength. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means loosening your grip on the illusion of control. It means recognizing that clinging to outcomes, obsessing over details, and forcing things into place only creates resistance. The more you try to dominate the process, the more disconnected you become from your deeper wisdom. But when you let go, not of your goals, but of your tightness, you begin to move from a place of trust. You push yourself, yes, but with the rhythm of the wave, not against it. Consider a dancer. The movement looks effortless, but it is not without discipline. It is not without structure. What makes it beautiful is not the tension. It's the surrender to timing, to rhythm, to the space between steps. Life is like that. You must push, but not with strain, with presence, with clarity, with the kind of inner stillness that allows the right movement to arise at the right time. You've likely had moments where things just clicked, where you were in sync with your task, your surroundings, yourself. That's not luck, that's alignment. That's the reward of letting go of unnecessary force and trusting the intelligence that flows through you when you stop overthinking and start being. And from that space you still act, you still pursue, create, build, but it's no longer a fight, it's a dance. So push yourself, but not into exhaustion or burnout. Push yourself into alignment, into that place where your desire, your values, and your actions are in harmony. Make it happen not by fighting life, but by listening to it, attuning to it, moving with it. When you act from that place, the world doesn't resist you. It moves with you because life recognizes life. And when you are fully present, fully alive, you become unstoppable not because you forced your way through, but because you flowed exactly where you were meant to go.